What she did that night still claws at my sanity, even now, even after decades of trying to forget. I am 99 years old as I tell this, my body barely holding together. Most memories have abandoned me like rats fleeing a sinking ship. But that night, that cursed night 40 years ago, remains seared into my soul, vivid, screaming, refusing to release its grip. It was an ordinary evening in 1985, deceptively peaceful, like the calm before an execution. I was 59 then, still foolish enough to believe in normalcy. We sat at dinner in suffocating silence. She was 57, beautiful still, with silver threading through her dark hair. She smiled at me occasionally, that practiced smile I'd foolishly trusted for 40 years of marriage. I noticed nothing wrong then, and that ignorance will torture me until my last breath. After dinner, we moved like sleepwalkers. She kissed my forehead goodnight, her lips cold, lingering. The clock read 10:47 p.m., the last normal moment before everything changed forever. Sleep dragged me under violently, like being buried alive in black water. I woke to absolute terror at 2:33 a.m., my body convulsing. It was animal panic, my flesh screaming danger. I reached desperately for her. The bed was frozen solid, empty, abandoned for hours. I held my breath, straining against the crushing silence. The house felt dead at first, now felt like a tomb. Then came the sound, slow, grinding, deliberate, rising from somewhere deep below me. Like bones being dragged through concrete, my medical training told me this was impossible. I'd been a doctor for 30 years, but this defied everything. Terror propelled me forward. I moved into the hallway. A sickly yellow light leaked from the living room. The shadows writhed like they were alive. Each step toward that light felt like descending into my own grave. The scraping intensified, rhythmic, hypnotic. I tried to call her name. Martha, I whispered, but terror had stolen my voice. When I finally reached the doorway, my soul shattered completely. She was there, hunched on the floor, facing the wall like something feral, both hands clutched at nothing, pulling with desperate strength, dragging something I couldn't see. The floor beneath her showed fresh wounds, deep gouges tore through wood, forming. Slowly, impossibly, whatever she pulled fought back with terrible force. I forced words from my throat. Martha, what are you doing? She stopped instantly, freezing like a corpse. For an eternity, nothing existed. She didn't turn around, and that delay flooded my mouth with the taste of copper. Then she rose with the slowness of something ancient and rotated to face me. Her face was smooth, empty, scraped clean of humanity. Those brown eyes I'd loved now held nothing, only something primordial. Wearing her skin, she spoke my name softly, Robert, but the voice was wrong. She claimed she couldn't sleep, decided to move some furniture. The words were practiced, designed to make me question my sanity. Moving furniture didn't create the violence scarred into our floor. Savage scratches, deep as knife wounds, at least an inch deep into solid oak. I demanded to know what she had dragged. She smiled and whispered, "Nothing you need to understand." Those 5 words have poisoned every moment I've lived since. She walked past me, her fingernails trailing across my arm. Her touch felt human, warm, and that contradiction broke something permanent inside me. She returned to bed within moments, her breathing deepened, peaceful as death. I stood paralyzed, alone, staring at proof of horror. I searched frantically. Our furniture was all there, everything exactly as before. No furniture had moved, nothing was missing. Only those brutal scratches testified that something unspeakable had happened here. Dawn finally bled into the room. 6:17 a.m. I rushed to the living room. The scratches were gone, erased completely. The wood gleamed perfect, laughing at my crumbling sanity. I stood there shaking, convinced I was losing my mind. Days crawled past, but dread wrapped around me. Small wrongnesses began multiplying. Objects migrated to impossible places. A chair would face the corner, picture frames turned backward. Books appeared open, marked with symbols in the margins. My medical journals were rearranged, opened to sections on brain death, the exact moment life becomes death. Each time I confronted her, she laughed with gentle concern. Her explanations made perfect sense, and that terrified me. So I started documenting obsessively in a notebook I hid beneath the floorboards. June 15th, chair facing corner again. June 18th, photos all reversed. June 29th, the scratches returned. Then one suffocating night in July, July 4th, 1985, the scraping returned with vengeance. This time I didn't announce myself. I became a shadow, watching in absolute silence. She was there again, kneeling, dragging that invisible burden with ritual precision. But this time I noticed something else. Her lips were moving, whispering in a language I'd never heard her speak, something older, something that predated human speech. She stopped abruptly. "Robert, I know you're there," without turning around. She'd known I was watching all along. Terror spread through my chest. She turned to face me with that same hollow expression. She said, "Some truths are too poisonous for mortal minds. I've protected you for 40 years, she whispered, protected our children. Knowing certain things breaks people permanently. I demanded answers. She stepped closer. Her voice dropped to barely audible. I am keeping us safe from what lives in the spaces below, from what has always lived there. Since before this house was built, those words stopped everything. My heart, my thoughts, protection from what? I tried to scream, but my voice had died. The next morning, July 5th, 1985, I discovered something that violated natural law under the living room rug. A seam appeared that had never existed before. A trapdoor perfectly integrated. I was certain it hadn't existed yesterday. My hands trembled as I pried it open. Cold air exploded upward, carrying a smell beyond description, something older than death itself. It smelled like earth, but wrong. Darkness filled the opening, vast and hungry and aware of me. I could feel things moving down there, slow and massive, waiting with patient intelligence. I grabbed my flashlight, shined it down, but the beam was swallowed. The hole seemed impossibly deep, deeper than the earth itself. I slammed the door shut, my entire body convulsing. Her footsteps sounded behind me. She looked at me with profound disappointment. "You shouldn't have opened that," she said quietly. "I've kept it sealed for decades." She said, "All people carry secrets too terrible to share. I've been keeping it fed," she whispered, "keeping it satisfied, keeping it from coming up." Fed with what? I wanted to ask, but couldn't form the words. Since that revelation, the house has been eerily quiet. No scraping sounds, no movements. She sleeps peacefully every night. I lie awake, listening to the silence pressing upward from below. Sometimes I feel something vast shifting beneath our floor, heavy, patient, intelligent, waiting. I hear sounds sometimes, sounds like breathing or something larger than breathing. Sometimes I hear voices, people who disappeared from our town over the years. The trapdoor remains, mocking me. I never do. Some doors should stay closed forever. That was 40 years ago. I am 99 years old now, standing at death's threshold. Martha passed away 15 years ago into 010 at age 82. Her last words to me were, "Keep it fed, Robert. Never let it get hungry." I didn't understand then. I'm not sure I understand now. Soon I will leave this poisoned world behind forever. But that night will follow me into whatever darkness waits beyond. What she did, what she dragged, still haunts me relentlessly, because I never learned what was being pulled across our floor. And I fear, I genuinely fear, she truly was protecting us from something that should never be named, or known, or released. The scratches appear sometimes still when I'm alone in the dark. They form slowly, deliberately, spelling words I refuse to read. I see her sometimes standing in the corner, smiling that loving smile, and I wonder, I truly wonder, if the woman I married was even human to begin with, or if something else has been wearing her since before we met, since before 1945, for longer than I can imagine. "Sleep well," she whispers every night before the darkness comes, and I lie here 99 years old, knowing that something beneath us is whispering back, and soon, very soon, when I'm gone, there will be no one left to keep it fed, to keep it satisfied, to keep it down there where it belongs. God, help whoever moves in after me